It's very difficult to condense all facets of myself when trying to describe who I am. My culture, where I've lived, where I've worked, and where I've gone to school are only a few small factors that work together to make me who I am. I'm a New Jerseyan, I'm a Rutgers University alumnus, I'm an educator who has taught in both public and private school settings, but to make it simple, I can say I'm a learner, an educator, and simultaneously a storyteller. From the time we are born, we are constantly exposed to new information. As we take in this information, we are learners. It's easy for many of us to make connections to old and new information and ultimately share that information with others around us, but for others, it's very difficult to acquire and exchange information, thus making it difficult for those individuals to share their story. I like to further acquire the skills to give others the skills to share their stories. A career in speech and language pathology will allow me to work closely with my participants and break communication barriers, whether they're students or patients. I currently have experience working with students on the autism spectrum. These students regularly attend speech sessions with the pathologist in their school on a weekly basis. Part of my job is to run their speech programs on a daily basis through incidental teaching, but also in structured and tracked trials. With a degree and certification of my own, I'd get the pleasures of creating the programs I know my students need to be able to communicate with those around them and share their stories. From my experience in a school setting, I've seen the frustrations that develop in many students from their inability to say what needs to be said. For many individuals on the autism spectrum, this inability to communicate manifests in problem behaviors that can leave the individuals and their loved ones in danger. Even for individuals without communication disorders, the difficulties and frustrations are felt when there's an inability to communicate with others. I'd like to give people a chance to say exactly what's on their mind, whether it's something simple, like communicating basic needs like hunger or the need to use the bathroom, or even more complex things like communicating emotions. Everyone deserves those skills. What I like most is to turn my interest into a career. I'd like to turn my curiosities about the profession into practical knowledge. I want to be able to change people's lives and interact with people who are all so different. This will make every day a learning experience in itself, and I can use those experiences to make connections for future uses. A career in SLP will allow me to continue to be a learner and a teacher. We all have a story to tell. I'd like to help people share their stories while I continue shaping and telling mine.